Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we are doing another speed build, but as you can notice, this is not my usual world that I build in. I typically build in a world by my Sims Realty. It is a custom content world, but it's completely empty, and it's called Rosewood Hills. However, we are currently building the first house that my Generation 3 heir for the Sims 3 FEGG challenge, which is for every generation there's a genre. We are building her first house in the world that she's going to be living in, which is called Anjou Falls, and that is another world by my Sims Realty. It is an older world. If you go to my Sims Realty's website, I'll try to remember to link it down below, like the link to the world. But Anjou Falls is about halfway down, but this world hasn't actually been updated or anything since 2015. It's a really pretty world. I would call it exotic. It's got like a bunch of like landmark things that would be from World Adventures. So there's like statues and old stone stuff, and it's really pretty, but it's all like dirt roads, and it's an island, and it's a small world. There's not a lot to it, but at the same time there's like just enough stuff to it. I don't know. I really like it. I think it's a really cute world. I think it's really pretty. And I just felt like it matched for the generation, and it also matched the like the sim for the generation, and because Generation 3 is based off fantasy, and the book that I'm using like as inspiration for this generation is called The Tiger's Curse by Colleen. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Houk. It's H-O-U-C-K. Huck. I don't know. But this is one of my all-time favorite series, especially like the first book, one of my all-time favorite books. I love the first book. I'm currently rereading it again. I reread it at the end of the last generation, and I started reading it the other day, and yeah, I love this book. I love it so much. The first one, Tiger's Curse. I actually have it with me right here because I wanted to read the like synopsis. I totally recommend it. It's really good. It is a fantasy romance, so I'm a hopeless romantic at heart, so I love this book, and I only wish I could have like a man in my life like Ren, that like who would love me and adore me like Ren adores Kelsey. Like, oh, I wish. So anyways, the summary on the back is: passion, fate, loyalty, would you risk it all to change your destiny? The last thing Kelsey Hayes thought she'd be doing this summer was trying to break a 300-year-old Indian curse with a mysterious white tiger named Ren halfway around the world. But that's exactly what happened. Face to face with dark forces, spellbinding magic, and mystical worlds where nothing is what it seems, Kelsey risks everything to piece together an ancient prophecy that could break the curse forever. Tiger's Curse is the exciting first volume in an epic fantasy romance that will leave you breathless and yearning for more. So it's technically a series of 5 books. I've only read the first 4 because the 5th book kind of goes off, and it's almost like a side novel for Ren's younger brother Kashan, and I like Kashan, but it's like Kashan and like nothing really with Kelsey and Ren that I like from what I know, and I prefer Kelsey and Ren, so I just don't really, I didn't bother with the 5th book, but yeah. So for the next for this upcoming generation, Kelsey, the heir, has to have the absent-minded trait, which she has to have a bad relationship with her mom. She doesn't really necessarily have a bad relationship, she just doesn't really have any relationship. Like, she has barely any green on the relationship bar with her mom. They're just simply acquaintances, and then she's like best friends with her dad. She has to have more than 1 kid. I intend for her to have 4. So we will move at like a later date because the house that I'm building at the moment is only 2 bedrooms and 1.5 bathrooms. And then she can be married to whoever. It's not like she really minds who. as long as they put up with her daydreaming. So we're going to use like the online dating, kind of like how we did back in the first generation. Yeah, so I have a story I normally do for my speed build. So this is a really short speed build because this house is smaller, so it didn't take very long to build. So I've recently, within like the last month or so, become absolutely obsessed with the band AJR. You know, they made Bang, and Weak, World's Smallest Violin, like just to name a few of their songs. I've become like obsessed with them. I like have only been listening to their music, and yeah, just obsessed. So what was it? It was like maybe 2 weeks ago. I was just kind of curious because ever since I went to see Imagine Dragons in live, like at a concert back in March, and absolutely loved it. And all of a sudden, like the idea popped in my head. I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if AJR is going to be playing a concert and like anytime soon." And like the following Tuesday, so the 31st, they were going to be like 2.5 hours away. I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh. I talked my dad into going with me. So excited. So excited. It was for their OK Orchestra tour. And like there were just so many songs, because they do a lot of like really sick beat drops in their songs. I'm like, oh my gosh, that song would be epic live. That song would be so good live. Like, so excited. So bought tickets, convinced my dad to go with me. It was outside at an amphitheater. Never been to an amphitheater, but it was a really nice night out. There was a really good breeze. It wasn't super hot. Well, the Sunday before, so it would have been the 29th, I had this like really bad headache all day. And it just got worse and worse. And finally, like, it got somewhat better, like, right before I went to bed. I didn't really think much of it. Monday morning, I wake up, like, sore sinuses, like, my right ear was clogged, I had the cough, I had the runny nose. I was like, great, because the following night is this AJR concert. So I was like, okay, just take cold medicine, drink lots of water. I was like making sure I went to bed early, like trying to get all the sleep I could. Like, please just be like a one-day thing. Like, just be like my allergies, like, doing this to me. Just let this be allergies, please. And I wake up Tuesday morning, and then my left ear's clogged, and like my sinuses no longer hurt, but now I had like practically no voice, and everything was kind of muffled, and like I had a really runny nose. I just kept having, like, I was just coughing a whole bunch, and I was like, oh, this will be lovely. Going to the concert feeling like this. And like it's not the pandemonium. Okay, I didn't have that. Okay, I got tested just to be sure. I'm like, I'm not going to endanger, like, everybody else's, like, health. Like, so, like, it wasn't that. It's literally, it's like a mix of allergies and a cold. But I'm like, I'm going to this concert. I am not missing this concert. So my dad and I go to eat beforehand. We go to Red Robin, because we really like Red Robin. We don't have a Red Robin, like, anywhere near us. So normally when we go out of town, we normally go to Red Robin. And I, like, intentionally did not finish my meal, because I was like, I don't want to, like, eat all this food and then be jumping around at the concert later and, like, get nauseous and throw up. So I intentionally did not finish the meal. I ate maybe half. And then I put the rest of it in a to-go box. And I was like, I'm good to go. But it was, like, it was greasy. Because it was like a burger and fries. And my dad and I split an order of fried pickles. And yeah, so grease, That was it. So we got, like, we left for the concert really early, like, because last time we went to Red Robin, the service was extremely slow. There was like one waitress in a completely full dining room, took forever to eat, forever to like get our food. So my dad was like, we should go early, and like, because they're probably going to be really slow again. Okay, so we went really early, and we ordered, ate, and left within like maybe 40 minutes. So it took at least twice as long last time. So now it's like maybe 6:15. Concert doesn't start till 7:30. The venue is like 15 minutes away from this Red Robin. So we drive to the venue. Now it's a little before 6:30, and like parking was included with the tickets. So we park and we just kind of sit and we wait. I had brought my book with me, so I was reading. My dad was like doing whatever on his phone. It gets to about maybe 6:50, and like I can tell, like, my dad's antsy. My dad wants to get out of the car, so he's like, "Can we just go in already?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." So we go in. I get a t-shirt. I'm actually currently wearing the merch t-shirt. So the ticket line, super fast. Merch line, fastest merch line I've ever been in. It took longer for my dad to get us 2 waters than it did for me to get my t-shirt. And the line for merch was at least like maybe 3 times as long as the line for water, or for like beverages. So by now it's maybe like, I don't know, 7:05. Again, concert's supposed to start 7:30. So we make our way like into the actual amphitheater, and we find our seats, and we're just kind of waiting. I'm messing around on my phone. My dad's just kind of people watching. And 7:30 rolls around and no one comes out on stage. Nothing's happening. So we just keep waiting. 8 o'clock rolls around and the opening act finally comes out. And the opening act was Boy with a Uke, something like that. And I will say, for being called Boy with a Uke, I was expecting a lot more like actual ukulele playing. Because at one point, like, his music cut out mid-song and he stopped singing. So I'm not sure that he was actually singing live. And like, I recognize one of the songs. I've heard it on like TikTok and stuff, but it almost felt like glorified karaoke, and it was kind of hard to understand him. So I wasn't super impressed with the opening act. But you know, it was whatever. So this guy plays from maybe 8 to 8:30. And he like hypes up AJR. He's like, "These guys are great. I want to thank them, you know, for allowing me to come, like, to open for them. And they're so nice," and stuff like that. Like, give a round of applause for AJR. Everybody gets really hyped up, and AJR is not, like, they don't come on stage. They don't, like, they're not coming. They're not showing up. They're like, what the heck is going on? So this, like, the boy with uke or whatever walks off stage, goes to do whatever, and people start like moving around stage, like setting things up. And like 9 o'clock rolls around and AJR still hasn't come on stage. People are still just, it was almost like everyone up on stage, I was like moving things around, was just kind of like, they were in no rush, they were taking their time. So I'm starting to like, we're sitting here, it's about 9 o'clock, I'm not feeling too hot. Like right around that time, I started feeling almost like I needed to burp. Like I had like, it almost felt like gas sitting in like the top of my chest. And it, like, I couldn't get myself to actually burp. And it was starting to make me nauseous. And both my ears are clogged. Everything kind of sounds I'm underwater. I'm like coughing a bunch, and I'm having like people around me like look at me weird. Like I understand, but at the same time I just wanted to be like, I'm just choking on air, it's fine, it's nothing, I don't have anything, like I don't have, you know, the pandemonium. And like everybody, they're looking at me weird, basically like, don't get me sick, which is making me now like want to like hide. So finally about 9:15, the show starts. And by now, like, the sun has gone down, and it's like completely dark out, and like, the opening was like great. I really enjoyed the opening, and like, they came out and they had so much energy, and like, my dad had been really hesitant going with me to this concert because AJR is not his type of music at all. My dad listens to like a bunch of like 70s, 80s, 90s stuff, and if he's not listening to that, then he's typically listening to like country music, and he doesn't listen to that very often. So like, AJR is none of those things. They are not from like 70, 80, 90s like not pop, like punk rock bands, and they're not country. So my dad was a little hesitant. However, again, as soon as the show starts, his whole like demeanor shifts, and he's like into it, and I'm like, I am trying to be into it. I'm like clapping, and I'm trying to shout with what voice I have left, and like, I'm kind of like bouncing on the balls of my feet, but this feeling is not going away. Like, this feeling in like the top of my chest, like right underneath like my clavicle, like it's not like under my collarbones, it's not going away. And so like, the concert continues, and like they were playing, like, again, it was really cool, but it starts to become, for me, it starts becoming less of, yeah, like, this is great, like, jamming out to like my favorite songs, and it becomes more, okay, make it through this song, like, just keep breathing, you know, drink your water, like, okay, I made it through another song, and I made it through another song, and it became like less like, woo, enjoy it, and more just get through this song, and that was when I was like, okay, if that's how I'm thinking of this, if I'm not actually enjoying the concert, I probably shouldn't be here. So I try going to the bathroom, and like, I walk to the bathroom, and I'm hoping like, maybe if I just kind of like, maybe it's from being around all these people, maybe I was getting hot, plus like the greasy food from earlier, like that, it's got to be messing with me. And so I'm like, hopefully, like, if I just kind of like move around more than just like jumping up and down, like, hopefully that will help. And it really wasn't, and oh, I was so disappointed. And then I, like, a couple days later, I look up on YouTube, I look up the show, like, someone had like live recorded like the show from like somewhere else, like Texas or something, but it was the same show, and I saw that I had like 3 songs left, so part of me is like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I left, so like I didn't miss like half the show, but at the same time, like, I could have made it 3 more songs, I just needed to like enjoy just a little longer. And I don't know, I was kind of annoyed, kind of upset with myself, but hey, that's my story. So looks like we're coming to an end here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. The house, and I will try to remember to have the world both linked down in the description below. My Sims Realty, if you don't know what My Sims Realty is, they have a bunch of like gorgeous worlds, so go check them out. They are really pretty, they're really nice quality worlds, and again, Anjou Falls is just one of them. I really like this world, and I wish it was just, it's one of those worlds I feel that like doesn't really fit like everyday kind of style gameplay, just your average family. So I felt, because of like the story The Tiger's Curses, I'm like, oh, I just, for the book that it's like this generation is kind of inspired by, I felt like Anjou Falls could make sense, and it gave me an excuse to use it. So both will be linked down below. I also forgot to explain, so there is like a bunch of zebra print throughout the house. Ren is a white tiger, so I think tiger and zebra looks very similar, so I've convinced myself that the zebra throughout the house is actually just white tiger, but it'd be fake white tiger, because we're not here for skinning actual tigers, don't do that. But yeah, we're at the screenshots, so it's down below. Feel free to use the house, just make sure to you know, don't take credit for it. And yeah, I guess that's really about it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.